Nansu, do you have any questions with regards to the import work?
No, actually we just started working on the import, so we don't have questions now.
Hello.
Hello, Anu. How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you.
Let's just wait for a couple of minutes for Jeff to call in.
Pardon? I can't hear very clearly.
I said let's just wait some time for Jeff to call in.
Sure.
Hey, this is Jeff.
Hi, Jeff. How are you?
Oh, my car made strange noises this morning, so I had to disentangle something that was caught in my wheel. So.
Not fun. Hello, somebody just called in?
Hello, yes, this is Philippe from Oxford. Hi, everyone.
Hi, Philip. So I guess we can get started. We have Jeff, Nansu, Philippe, Jing, Firat, and Ergin on the call. Did I miss anybody? Okay. So if not, so on the agenda actually today we don't have that many items. We just have two. One is with regard to updates on all the action items that we have, and the other one is just to catch up on where we are with the NCE work. So for contacting repositories, there's not been a major update. For GDC and TCIA, we said that we would go back to update the transformations. So Jeff, do you need help for that?
No, we're basically ready to go. I'm just waiting for Barack to get back online, so he should be starting to work again early next week.
Okay. He's doing better then?
Yeah.
And also for the NDAR, you said you would be contacting somebody from NDAR about their APIs. Were you able to get to that? Hello?
Oops, can you hear me?
Yeah, now I hear you.
Yeah, no, that was Dan Hall. So I haven't. I'll ping again.
Okay. For the Viper and IRD, Nansu, I guess you're done working on IRD, and he has started just now. He's beginning to work on imports, so we could connect Geo and array to the import data sets at the sample or the study level. For ICPSR, I was supposed to contact Matthew. I sent him an email actually just today, and he is on vacation and will be back, I think, on March 8th. So I'll ping him again after that, and then we can take it from there. So for FitBear, we currently do have the next steps. So they're going to map and embed their landing pages with the schema.org tags. So we've offered them help. Jeff actually sent them a bunch of links so that they can figure out how to do it. And we also offered, in case they need any help, to link them up with Firat, since Firat worked with schema.org on DataMed, and once they're done with that, then maybe their plan is to extend it with tags. So the next action item was the DATS conversion, or to DATS conversion via DataMed API. Firat was going to look at the mapping that Madhuri did, which was then curated by Jeff and Alejandra. So Firat, did you have any questions for Jeff or Alejandra?
So what I am doing is just taking the example file, example inputs and example outputs, and using the mapping, trying to complete the output as we have. But at this point, I cannot do that. So most of the fields doesn't have the mapping that is shown in the example files. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm still trying to understand. So you're talking about the example file that Alejandra did,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, those files.
So what's the? I mean, what's so you're.
So I'm doing it step by step. I am examining the input file. I'm going to a field and look at the mapping for the output. But in the example output, the mapping and the example output doesn't match. The fields doesn't match.
For what?
For example, Anu, can you open the examples and the map file, please?
Okay, hold on. Let me get to that. It's in GitHub, right?
Yeah. So I have some notes on my notebook, but we can go over it.
So where is that? Is that in Dash?
I think so, yeah. It's under V3 or something, as I remember.
So what do you see? Do you see the...
A Word file, no.
This one?
This is a Word file. Response AEG.
Oh, you're talking about the working group 3 file, so it's not that.
The JSON files, yeah. The example input. It was in the mail from Alejandra. Can you get to the board, please?
Give me a minute, I'll have to search for that.
Yeah.
Yeah? This one, right?
So we are seeing, I think your screen is split it into two, and we are seeing some other Word file now.
Oh, okay, so my screen is not showing the correct one.
Yeah.
Right. Is this what you're talking about? Right?
Yeah. No,
Okay,
is this that? Is this the example file? No, I'm talking about the example file, starting with the PR, and there was an example.
Yeah, it's one level up with other schema, yeah.
So where I'm just trying to see instances?
Correct, yes. That would be the folder where you could see examples of JSON document corresponding.
So which one were you looking at? Because there are multiple here. Firat?
It was something like PR. Start with PR, something like that. It wasn't Alejandra's email. Maybe if you can search the email.
Yeah, I have too many emails from you, Alejandra, and Jeff. So I did search, but I pulled up a lot of them.
Okay, I will forward it to you. I'm going to my computer now.
Okay, I think I found it. Is this the one?
Hold on 1 second, please. No, Bert is going to pick up his daughter.
I forward you. Yeah. This is one.
Okay.
And I forward you the email.
I got it. But anyway, so this is the one. So which one do you want me to open? The
Both.
flat?
Both. Yeah. So using the mapping, I'm trying to. This is the result file, and please open the
Let
input
me
file.
actually show.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is your input, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you have your notes.
Yeah. Do we have the mapping Excel now? Do I have the mapping Excel?
Okay, let me open it. Give me just a minute.
Okay, so let's go to the input file first. Input file, please. Yeah, this one. In this one, this is data repository part. Yeah, is the data repository ID is SCR. Can you make it a little bit bigger, please?
Yeah, that's an identifier, yes.
Yeah. So in the mapping, can we look at the mapping for data repository ID? Data repository ID.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the stored in attribute in DATS, yeah.
Yeah, but in the output file, it's in URL, not the ID. So let's go to stored in identifier. That's the mapping, right? Stored in identifier. It's the URL, not the ID. It's the URL.
Yeah, the alternate identifier.
Sorry?
I see that underneath, like I know you're saying stored in identifier. It's a HTML, right? Link.
Yeah.
I mean, we consider that. I mean, the identifiers could be a URI, could be a query. Philippe, is there any? I mean, we've been using queries internally. I'm not sure why the identifier is the URL in this example. Which example is this?
This is from
we
PR.
can look at the inputs again. We can look at the input again.
No, I don't need to look at the input.
Yeah.
I was just asking Philippe. I mean, is there?
So let me have a look at the example.
Because I don't know if because that's not really the identifier. That's the well.
Yeah. Nice.
This is what Alejandra was mentioning on the call, that there was no attribute for the home page.
of
Right.
the source, and so that was stored as an identifier.
Mhm.
But we have an ID, and there should be ID here, right, in the identifier instead of this URL.
Yeah, so what Alejandra said last week is that because there's no storage for the home page, you can use that as an alternate identifier, so you can just swap them. Because you notice the identifier, right? So
this file is wrong? Is it?
no, I mean, I don't know if it's wrong. I mean, a URL is a URI, which is an identifier. to some
So where
extent.
should we put the data repository.id? I cannot see it in the file, in the output.
I mean, okay, so there are two things that we currently have, right? We have the URL and we have the identifier. We can keep it like that. I mean, this is fine. I don't have any problems with this.
Anu, can you open the Excel file, please? That's where I am confused. So I need strict mapping. So for the ID here, stored in identifier, right?
So the stored in identifier, Jeff is saying, can also be an URL, Siraj.
Yeah, and the discussion we had last, on the last call, there was no sort of home page attribute for the stored in, and so right now it was being stored in the identifier. It doesn't really matter. I mean, I don't know if you have any. I mean, we can keep it like it is in the example file for now, and if we need to change it down the line, we can.
I guess you could just swap them, right? You have the related identifier and you have
So when I look at the mapping, this value here should be. Can you come to the input file, please? So it should be SCR004801, right?
That is, yeah, that's an identifier, yes, and so is the URL.
So in the output file, it should be that, right? Not the URL. So am I thinking in the right way? Just I'm confused.
I mean, as I said on the call last week, there was no place for the URL, so that was being used also as an identifier. So we can swap them, move the identifier into the identifier section, the URL into the alternate identifier section. I don't know if it really matters that much. I don't know if you have a.
So that's the place where I am very confused. I cannot think in that way. I need strict mapping. So we have to put something.
Okay, so put the identifier in the identifier and put the URL in the alternate identifier.
Okay, Anu, can you change it, please?
Can I change what here?
Excel file. Mapping, we are changing the mapping.
No, we aren't. So identifier gets the identifier, and then we have to, I guess we need to add in an alternate identifier. But for the home page, Jeff, I thought we were going to use the access URL.
Yeah, was that, I was trying to remember if that already existed in DATS or if it's.
So we do
an access URL, but
Can I ask something?
Yeah.
I don't understand this. So the ID goes to identifier here, right? We have to change it to URL right now.
Oh, no.
So
if
identifier, that's
comment here, Sirat, you see, I think you're right about the mapping of data repository.homepage to data repository.access URL.
But that's for the home page. That's not for the ID. I'm talking about data repository ID.
Yeah, that goes to identifier.
So, Sirat, the example files were mapped 5 months ago, right?
Yeah.
Yes, this is a learning process.
Example file is wrong now. Is it wrong now?
The example file for this, we decided to change it.
So so do I have to change my way of testing this mapping file?
I
Shouldn't
think
I
so.
use the example files because they are old and wrong in this mapping? The mapping is right and the examples are wrong, as I understood now.
I think you should go with the mapping because we talked about this mapping. This was reviewed with Alejandra and Jeff last week, right?
Yeah.
So let's go with this. Don't worry about the examples because the examples were mapped like.
I'm giving up using the example file. I am just using this mapping tab.
So what you can
This is
do
the-
is
The example file should be 80%, 85% correct, but there are going to be some differences.
For now, it's
Yes,
40% something. Example file is 40%, 45% something true.
So Firat, can you do this? Why don't you convert one of the DataMed entries to DATs? You create an input and an output by yourself, and then why don't we get that to be checked again by Alejandra and Philippe and Jeff?
Okay. According to this mapping, I will do the input again. Okay.
Right.
According to this mapping. Okay.
And come back and see if it looks okay or not. Make sense?
Yes.
Yes, sure.
Yeah.
I will convert
That's the best way to go.
again.
That's the best way to go because these examples were created manually somehow at the very beginning. And so definitely, I'm pretty sure as you proceed automatically with a very strict mapping, you will pick up things that we didn't. So that would be a very good test. So really thank you for this work.
Yeah. All the example output file is always confusing us. So we have to do it again and see what happens.
Okay. So I guess then, so you're going to go ahead, do it, and maybe you don't need to wait for the meeting, Firat. You can just send out an email with the examples and let Alejandra, Philippe, and Jeff take a look at it. And if we all agree it's okay, then we can go ahead and start, hardening it.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. All right. So the next thing is the draft list of topics that Ian sent. I'd assigned working on certain parts of it to myself, Jeff and Alejandra. Alejandra did it. Jeff and I are yet to do it. I'll try and get to it before the next meeting, and so we can.
And I'll get to that later this week. So.
Okay.
Is this sorry, Henry? Is this link available through email? Was it circulated by email or the draft topic for the agenda?
Let me actually put it in the chat window so you can get it.
Okay. Yeah, thank you.
But it's actually in the BioCaddy Google Drive, but may not be easy to find it. So.
Right. Yeah. Thank you.
So we already talked about the DATS output. I guess since Burak is not in, we are not going to talk about the data ingestion. I did email Eugene about getting updated information from them, but I did not hear anything yet, so I'll probably get back to him. And with reference to the common data elements, I again have, I know that we have some kind of preliminary results with a mapping with an automated CDE mapping system, but I haven't had a look at it. So that's something I think we can have. So that was done by Zong Cheng, and we can have him present sometime at the BioCAD CDT meeting. I think that would be useful. So in terms of new functionalities, we had proposed to do 4 of them, and 3 are already completed. So the only thing that needs to be worked on is the alerts to new results from saved searches that Jing will work on in a little while. And I think that's about it. Was there anything else that we should talk about?
I think there were still the kind of mapping issues or updates on a couple of mapping to the repositories such as the NYU data set and also the IEDB one. And somehow this is, I missed the call last week, unfortunately, but this is still related to how the transformation pipeline works and how can we test it, and if there is any feedback on the IEDB mapping from that was done a few months ago on whether it works, whether it needs to be updated.
So
if there are...
Sorry, go ahead, Jeff.
No, I wasn't going to say, but we can, Philippe, we can follow up on that next week if you want.
Okay, yeah.
So basically, what you have is you already have the updated, you have some mapping with the IEDB and also the NYU library.
Correct, yes. Yeah.
And you want to check if the translation script is okay or not?
Yes, yes. And also somehow it echoes the work on the ontology required for DataMed somehow, and identifying additional elements that would be that are in dire need of a terminology to support the use case and somehow have unify how things would be queried. So I can document that. And this is also, so for the NYU repository, there are 2 things. There is a kind of initial mapping directly into that JSON schema. The other one is the transformation pipeline that is currently used by DataMed. So there would be the 2 things, which one we want to use or review. So the first one, the data is needed because I presume the NYU would like to serve that format as well, also to allow direct generation and import. But if this turns out to be too demanding on their side, they wanted to know, or I proposed them in a way to use the data transformation pipeline language used by Jeff and map their output into that so that they could just point to the landing page and then we would pull the data like this.
So Jeff, for the transformation pipeline for IEDB, do you want to just use our data pipeline repository to work with it, or to double check it?
Yeah, no, I'll double check because I have to. I'm not sure again where Barak was on that. So I'll double check, and then Philippe and I can follow up next week on that.
All right. So we talk about it next week then, right?
Yep.
Let me know.
No, wait a minute, because next Tuesday I'm at a meeting in Copenhagen, so I probably won't be able to make the call on Wednesday evening. On Tuesday evening, sorry.
So we can, Philippe, we can try to find another time, maybe later in the week.
Okay.
Here.
Okay. Yep.
Okay.
Thank you.
Is there anything else that we need to talk about?
No, I think that's it on my side at least.
Okay. If there's nothing else, also please do remember to deposit all updated codes into GitHub because all our codes are expected to be provided in GitHub and are expected to be open source. When you are depositing codes, do remember that you should not put any kind of sensitive information up there because it is going to be open source. Otherwise, I guess if any of you do not have access to BioCaddy GitHub, please let me know, although my feeling is all of us have access to it. I guess that's about it. If there's nothing else, then we finish a little early.
Okay, thank you, Anu, Jeff, Bharat. Have a good day. Bye.
All right, everybody.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.